Welcome back to God Deserves Better, the program dedicated to equipping the saints to create like our Creator. I'm your host, Zach Lovelace.
And I'm your host, Jonathan Laura.
Tonight, we're doing something a little different. We're doing some GDB news.
Yeah, just a lot of new things happening in the film world, and so we just wanted to cover it. Just trying something out and see if it sticks. If you guys like it, let us know.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at two bits of news / like chatter on the internet. We're talking about the new Fantastic Four First Steps trailer. There seems to be a lot of conversation erupting online about it. And then we're going to look at the cast of Nolan's The Odyssey.
2026.
2026, yep.
Yeah.
Already announced, co-writer Homer. Whatever that means. But yeah, so Johnny, let's talk about Fantastic Four First Steps. The trailer just dropped today, February 4th, 2025.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
From Marvel, Disney Marvel, not someone else. So I think Disney Marvel's reputation has been pretty tanked as of the last 4 years.
It's kind of the worst time to be a Fantastic Four movie. I feel like, your rights were held by somebody who gave you three really bad movies, and then Marvel, Disney wrestles
I like
it from
the first
them.
one as a kid.
I do. That's true.
I haven't gone back as an adult.
I rewatched it last year, and it holds up in terms of like campy. Like it's refreshing because it's not gritty and trying to take itself so seriously. But this is the first. I think as a Fantastic Four fan, like I do like the comics. Grew up reading them. Grew up watching the '90s cartoon. The Thing is like probably my favorite superhero. So that, I got skin in the game, got some rocky skin in the game. But
orange skin.
Yeah, I got some rocky orange skin. But yeah, I do really have a heart for the Fantastic Four. They're just a cool concept in Marvel. They are like the cornerstone to Marvel Comics with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby teaming up. And they are known as the first Marvel's first family. And that's kind of all throughout this trailer. I feel like they laid it on appropriately thick. To let you know that's kind of their dynamic. But without
we'll see how they do it in the film, but in the trailer it's enough.
Yeah. And from our perspective as like Christian filmmakers, I'm happy to see a film that's leading so much with family as a thing. That
not
it's
a ton
about
of DEI to be seen
so
far.
Yeah,
he did mention, I didn't see it in the trailer, but that they gender swapped the Silver Surfer.
Yes, I can't remember the actress's name, but she's from Ozark. She's the blonde, curly-headed girl. I mean, they have done a good job hiding any reference to her at all. Like you barely even see Galactus, who's the main big bad guy, and he's an arch nemesis of the Fantastic Four, which is actually a reason why I'm actually not that interested. Not to mention, again, the major reasons being like.
It's
DEI Disney, just not understanding fans, maybe even purposely resenting Marvel fans, such as myself, and basically paying the price and just like cranking out garbage. And even to that point, before they were totally Disney owned, I had kind of already been done with the MCU. So that just gives you some perspective with me.
So that was like around Incredible Hulk, Captain America 1, around that time? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was in up until the first Avengers, and then I was out, and I was not on the train. I haven't really participated until you and I started working together, and our group of friends just got hardcore into Infinity War and Endgame. And so I caught up. I didn't like watch every movie, but because I know the comics, I'm not totally ignorant. I could probably figure it out. So I got into Endgame, and then I walked away. Like I feel like everything since then has sucked. Like and there's a bunch of video essays popping off right now about Spider-Man No Way Home,
the third one,
with all three
Far
Spider-Man
From Home.
in it,
I don't remember,
or Far From Home, whichever one. Go Spider-Man Go Home.
Pretty much
that it gets worse the more you watch it. And it's like that.
Oh yeah,
brother, that's the MCU. Like
I think upon first viewing, I knew it sucked, but I think it was kind of like. It was during COVID. I think we were being fed a lot of trash. And so it was refreshing in the moment as something that's like, not too woke.
Collectively, the royal you, bit down on the nostalgia bait. But I remember leaving the theater and being like, you know what? A lot of this did not make sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is just the state of the MCU. Like that's what we're talking about. So it's like, you get to this point and this is the mother, the derelict, neglected, neglective mother, the MCU, and she's just farting out these kids, and they suck. Like they have attitude problems. They have an axe to grind. They technical level stuff like really sucks. But first blush on the Fantastic Four trailer is, I'm not like, oh man, giddy, buckle me up. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll go see that.
It's actually it's the best looking thing they've put out in a while. This trailer specifically, not anything else.
Yeah, Not to speak for the film that it's advertising, but the trailer itself.
I think you showed it to me today. You were like, dude, it dropped. I watched it together, really. And I was like, okay, this looks promising. They picked a style. Seems to have a certain feel aesthetically.
I'll take my wife to go see it. I know it'll be good enough, for my wife and I to enjoy, probably, like in a not sad boy movie type thing that I usually am known for. Yeah.
This is like a new season for a TV show.
Yeah.
That's the level of quality we're going for, I think. Yeah. It's like, this is a B. That's the expectations I have for this, is a mid B.
The problem is, we'll stick the conversation because we could talk about the state of the MCU for a long time. Yeah. That it's just like in an ocean of garbage. You got one good bite, not really a promising thing. But I like the 1960s pastiche thing. That it's like The Incredibles, which they pulled Michael Giacchino, the composer, to do the music. Which the theme, I listened to it several times today, is very good. Fantastic Four. That's cool. Like that's got a level of camp to it that I actually enjoy. And the trailer took itself seriously. Like there wasn't really any clapback sarcasm type stuff that you get from MCU stuff. There really wasn't an obvious
undercutting itself.
Like comedic character. Typically the comedy comes between the Thing and the Human Torch, kind of like brotherly, getting under each other's skin.
Yeah.
And so you could definitely detect it. That's probably going to be in there. But again, the music was the most impressive part to me. The music's doing the heavy lifting.
I think it was really impressing that I only recognized Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
I don't really like,
because he's in everything.
A lot of the people haven't done a bunch of stuff. The other actors in the main four.
Vanessa Kirby did the Mission Impossible, a couple of them. So I recognized her, and then the other guy. The Human Torch.
You said he was from The Bear, right? The Thing.
Well, that's the Thing guy. He's from The Bear, which that was actually my issue. Is like you show him cooking, so you get these people who are like, "Oh, that guy from The Bear. He's got a weird name. I can't remember what it is, but he's in it, and it's like, oh, he's cooking. Oh, and it's like, I didn't like The Bear. Okay, hot take. Number 10 probably, but then you show The Thing, and it's just like, I don't know. The CGI didn't look that great. And then they needed to drop his voice a couple of octaves. I feel
he has a high voice. For
The
Thing.
Like just rewatched it before we got on the mic, and
it's Michael Chiklis, the last one.
And then the Thing is just kind of like this, and I don't know. That would not be hard to change before the movie comes out. They have a couple months, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something I pray that they do if they want to change it. That's like a nitpick, though. I'm not going to give it like a super hardcore thing.
You need to start a campaign like the Sonic movie.
yeah. I mean, that actually
that's
true. That's history being.
It's way easier to do.
That's actually a good point. But I don't like Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Just off the bat.
Not a Pedro Pascal guy myself.
Neither am I.
Either.
He's oversaturated.
Yeah. But I think one reason why I'm more hopeful is one, the introduction of Galactus, I think, sets up a new phase very well. Another guy to replace Thanos as a big bad who's actually like scary, as opposed to who was the guy? Jonathan Majors.
Kang.
Kang, yeah. I mean, no one really bought into that. This actually is pretty daunting, and seems like an interesting storyline. One thing you were talking with me about earlier was like perhaps that what they're setting up is this is an alternate dimension that Galactus destroys, and so they flee into the dimension that the MCU has been mainly happening in. And so that's
I would hope that would be the case, because then they could actually lose at the end of this film, and that would be
Galactus
cool.
Doesn't die off,
No, but
that's like, oh, he's going to come back.
Though is like then he shows up and he's like, I'm going to eat this planet, and it's like, oh, it's the same plot as the last one. I don't know. I mean, It works.
The Rise
but,
of Silver Surfer or whatever.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, Galactus is, depending on how they do him, it seems like he's going to be small to begin with, which is nice. And then he's just kind of on the planet and doing his thing. He's got a big machine that he uses to help him eat the planets. So it does take time. And he has the Heralds, obviously, and they can fight the Heralds. If they fight Silver Surfer, that's cool. I don't like that Silver Surfer's a woman. Nolan Rad, my boy, he's like one of the coolest characters in all the MCU. One of the most original superheroes ever. And his story is that he laid down his life for his planet and the woman that he loves. And it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't ring as true for it to be some chick to be like, I laid down my life for my husband. I mean, yeah, you can do that. But it just
it doesn't seem like they would.
No, it doesn't feel like the masculine heroic. Yeah. Like that is a figure mythologically. They don't understand that and why that would be cool and compelling and tragic. Not to say that a woman can't lay down her life, but again, it's
like if it's for her kids or something. That's awesome. I think it could work.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
doesn't seem promising. Doesn't seem like that's the direction they'll go in. But
no, probably not.
There's an avenue they can take if it's not too late.
Yeah,
if you're listening, Disney.
Yeah, I hope they duped us. I hope they duped us hardcore. That Galactus isn't really the bad guy. Like he shows up
bait
at the
and
end.
switch.
Yeah.
Again. It's Kang. Kang is back.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's real bait and switch. But Johnny Storm, that's cool casting. Whatever. He's from Stranger Things. He'll probably do a good job. He played like kind of a outcasty D&D guy. Eddie, what's his face? It's been a while since that season came out. I can't even remember. But yeah, the cast, they seem like if they have enough chemistry, cool. Like I'm willing to overlook some of the Pedro Pascal. In the trailer, though, he kind of sounds autistic. So it's like that's his angle on Reed Richards, where he's like, we have dinner at exactly 7 o'clock on Sunday.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what.
No matter what.
Seems like he's doing that as a performance, maybe in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That was my read on it.
I mean, he's clearly performing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you're acting as a bad actor, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're just a bad actor.
The other thing is we never saw Reed use his powers. So in terms of stretching, so they might go like really low on that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with that. His intelligence has always been the more interesting aspect to him. But then again, he can kick butt too. Like stretching is a cool power, I don't know. Like
I'm sure
find a way, Marvel. Find
why they wouldn't.
Freaking way. Make it cool. But yeah, so I mean, there's really, in terms of mood, in terms of the world, you get like cool looking cars. You get that kind of futuristic 60s
retro
thing.
future, yeah.
Again, the almost the Incredibles style world. That's great. That stuff is cool. I wish we would have had this 10 years ago. Would have been way more well received, probably. Anyway,
they had to learn the hard way. If this is going to be what we think it is, then
yeah. Well, there's no saving this movie at all. There's no saving the Marvel train at all either. Like it is dead. So that's what's I think so. There's the big giant turd of Captain America: Brave New World or whatever it's called.
Yeah. That's true.
I keep seeing stuff for
New
that.
World Order.
It looks
going to be called.
That's the original title. It looks so bad. It looks so bad.
No way it's going to make $1 billion. And
not in any alternate universe ever. And so, Fantastic Four has to like overperform, and I don't think it will. None of them, like, it's interesting. Like we looked up the director of Fantastic Four, and he kind of had marched his way through the long
he did
halls
WandaVision, I think.
Yeah, the MCU, and he directed some of The Boys and some Succession. So he's like, prestige TV. And I never
puppet for Disney, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, and I think he co-wrote some of the WandaVision stuff too, which was again kind of pastiche 1950s, 60s TV. So he probably pitched them on this Fantastic Four, and it really worked. So I hope that's cool, but I don't know the guy. I don't. Whereas like Jon Favreau coming into Iron Man, that's what you need.
Someone who's done enough films.
Yeah,
before.
And it's like
he did what? Elf. He did a show, a couple shows.
Yeah, he did Swingers. I mean, he'd been around. He'd done a lot of things, but the kind of magic of the 2008 Iron Man with RDJ and everything. Like, I don't know. I don't sense that type of thing with this film. This film feels like the last bright stop before the cliff.
It might be. It might be. I don't trust Disney to handle what comes after this well. And if they're going to try to have so much control over it, if they're leaning in a direction where it's like, hey, we'll let these people like exact their vision and have, a better, just a more hands-off approach, I think this could it could turn around. I don't think it's dead completely, but they, almost no room for error basically. So,
I'm just way more of a cynic at that point. Like, I've been off the train for a long time. I think
it's good for what Marvel. I think it could be good for what Marvel films are, which is just a TV show made into a movie. It's a serial thing. It's not going to blow your socks off. It's just funny. You can take your family to see it. That's all it is.
True.
It's a fun family movie.
It's a step above. I think it will be fine at that. The Lion King story.
What was that?
It's a step above Mufasa, a Lion King story.
100%, yeah.
I
lasted 15 minutes into that film.
Oh, you went and saw it?
Yeah.
No way.
Mufasa. I thought I told you that, yeah. We took our two boys, they're 1 and 2 years old.
That's right, okay.
And my 1-year-old was throwing a fit because he's 1 year old and can't sit still during a feature-length film in a movie theater.
That sounds like self-inflicted at that point.
I was like, I will step out. I'm not married to watching this film. So
get me out of here.
Yeah. But anyways, I think where would you in the list of Marvel films, which maybe we'll rank later on, we'll see. Where would you rank just based on this trailer? Where do you think it's going to land?
I think it's better than Captain Marvel. It's probably better than definitely the new Captain America. I don't even have to see it. Yeah. Probably better. It'll probably be on par with Guardians 3.
Okay. Guardians 3, yeah. I didn't really like Guardians 2. I might put it.
Yeah, maybe Guardians 2 is a better way to put it. Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that movie either. But you look back and it's like, okay, it was serviceable.
Yeah.
Maybe a step above serviceable in a lot of areas. But yeah, the CGI is a huge thing for me. Not to say that it needs to be amazing, but it's just the MCU is really known for crappy computer effects and stuff.
Yeah. They work their VFX team to the bone.
Johnny Storm in this, the Human Torch, like there's a real rubbery kind of model of him like jumping off the building. I don't know. There's like a couple of frames of it where you see it. It's like, oh, that does not look good. Again, the set design and everything though looks awesome. Like the kids with the thing masks and they lift it up. Mm-hmm. John Malkovich is in it. I don't know who he plays. I didn't even look it up. It's like that's kind of cool.
Galactus.
No, yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, I think again, if they have like solid acting and a decent story, you're still not breaking $1 billion.
No, not at all. I think it's going to be like they spent like a mid-tier budget and making maybe in like the 9 figures, I would say. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We shall see.
Best of luck, Disney.
Best of luck, Disney. Again, there's more to come. I think there's a longer trailer coming out for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that's a couple weeks or whatever, or this weekend. I don't know. I don't follow football.
This weekend, yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically all I have to say. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more to be said about the state of things at the moment than there is this film specifically. Yeah. Again, they really did hide a good bit of the plot and that kind of stuff. I do think going back to the family thing, they end with the line. It says "Welcome to the family, July 25th." And I think that
seems to be a key piece.
The key, yeah, exactly, and that they are a family. They're Marvel's first family. I like that. I like that a lot. But I'm just so wary. I'm so battered. I'm a battered housewife when it comes to the MCU stuff. It's like, yeah, he's being nice to me right now. I don't know what to make of this.
You're suspicious.
Like, I'm very suspicious.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I mean, I just think I see She-Hulk twerking in my mind.
Can't get that out. Yeah.
And I can't get that out of my mind, and all the other stuff that like the other Captain Marvels, the Marvels movie. It's like all of that. It's like, what world were we in? I feel like we just woke up a little bit. But the again, the production design. I can celebrate lots of little things about this, but as a whole, it's like, okay.
Grain of salt. You're tiptoeing in.
I'm tiptoeing
ready
in
to
for
run out.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I may underestimate this film. I'll leave it that much. I'll leave it a little crack in the door.
Okay. Going in low expectations, I think, is key to most films. So we will be doing that.
Yes.
All right. So switching gears, we are now, as we said before, we're going to talk about the cast of The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, we have probably talked more about on the show than any other director, and this is his new film. We did a ranking of his films, which you could check that out. We'll put a link in the description. We did a ranking of his filmography.
A lot of hot takes.
The next week, he announced that he was doing The Odyssey as his next film. So it was like a perfect timing with that. So here, as you can see...
Everybody go to YouTube and watch if you're just listening on your podcast app if you want to get more compelling visuals here. But we'll
or on Spotify you can watch it.
Yeah, that's true. Just open it up. But yeah, so I will read off some of these people here. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 14 people here that have been named in the cast. I think it was early on leaked that Matt Damon was in it. So I thought it was a Matt
Robert
Damon
Pattinson,
film,
I believe. Yeah.
But I actually, it's hard to say. I think Tom Holland has been confirmed as Odysseus. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Which would be mega dumb. But okay, let's see here. So out of these 14 people, we have Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron, Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Matt Damon, Elliot, a.k.a. Ellen Page, in Man-Face, Lupita Nyong'o, Samantha Morton, Hitesh, what's his last name?
Himesh Patel.
Himesh Patel, sorry. And then we have Bill Irwin, who's the guy who played Tars, the robot in Interstellar, John Leguizamo, and then Benny Safdie. Luigi, whatever. Sid from Ice Age.
You said Luigi.
He did play Luigi.
He did, yeah.
But no,
his most iconic role.
We were saying the Sid thing earlier. We're like,
yeah.
Odysseus. We kind of like aren't home or whatever. We had something.
Watch out for the sirens.
Yeah, I bet you think those sirens are hot, don't you? And he's like just totally tanking Odysseus.
Yeah. This is total blemish. Well, I think a lot of these people are blemishes, but John Leguizamo more so.
Yeah,
I said he's a cartoon. Basically, in a film,
he is
it's supposed to be taken very seriously.
Him and Bill Irwin seem like they're definitely there for their voice. You know, like they're voicing
maybe
characters.
He is, but I mean, you're just going to hear John Leguizamo.
Yeah,
it's going to be very hard.
But this cast is not that impressive to me. Kind of to the I actually think the Fantastic Four cast is more impressive than this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, they feel like they have a little bit more chemistry than I imagine these people having, especially for the lazy. Odyssey. You know, it does. It's like Tom Holland and Zendaya. Wow.
Yeah, they have chemistry, I guess.
I mean, they're married or going to get married or whatever. It's just like, I don't know. And
this
then Elliot,
trying to appeal
Ellen
to
Page over here being the diversity hire. Yeah. Of like, oh, look, Nolan's going to make his Oscar run again, I guess. I don't know. It hit at the right time. The Odyssey hit at the right time with a couple of things. I think I sent them to you, some podcasts and stuff, where it's like the young men of the West recovering their like Western heritage to some degree, and so like this felt like a really safe kind of zeitgeisty thing to pick. Of like, okay, Greek philosophy, and we go all the way back to the West with Homer, and obviously like various other philosophers and stuff, but. You know, cornerstone of the West here. That I don't know. It's just like none of this screams to me realism, which Nolan is known for.
This isn't believable as a Greek film or like a Greek type setting.
Yeah, I mean,
none of these characters really fit.
Some of them, maybe.
I guess Tom Holland.
I bet you $1 million.
Safdie.
Lupita's Circe, the sorceress that like keeps Odysseus on her island and like turns his men into like animals and stuff. Because the whole thing is basically like after the Trojan War, Odysseus is trying to get home to Ithaca.
Have they said when this is taking place in the story, or is it just going to be the breadth of the whole?
I think it's the whole thing. Okay. So that's where maybe it's like, oh, he's Tom Holland in the beginning, but then he's Matt Damon at the end. which would be dumb. I hate that. I hate that.
They kind of look the same.
The Ray Fiennes movie, The Return, which I watched a good bit of. I didn't finish the film.
I haven't seen it yet.
Was cool. Like it picked one episode in Odysseus' story to go for, as opposed to like truncating the whole thing. But you also got to think: does the Nolan time warp thing factor into it at all? Does his like nonlinear?
Sure hope not.
I think what was the joke I had about like like this movie's gonna be like 10 hours long, and it's like I farted 10 minutes into this movie and now it itches. Like it's just like be careful.
Wipe.
Yeah, Nolan, I need a wipe. But just like I don't know, I don't take this seriously at all.
No.
Just go do that same film with nobodies. Like maybe have one or two actors in there.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to see, Matt Damon show up in a space pod.
Yeah.
That
was cool. Matthew McConaughey's I guess Timothée Chalamet was in Interstellar.
He was, yeah.
But that was before he was big.
But this just feels like somebody convinced Nolan, and Nolan's like high on his own supply that he can make it work. It's like, can you make this work?
Could have been studio interference. It's Universal now that he's working under for distribution.
I think the people I'm
that.
most upset with are the Zendaya and Tom Holland, and Elliot Page.
Ellen and John Leguizamo.
I keep giving you both names. How you feel about that? But those three people are just they unbalance the whole thing because Charlize Theron. Okay, she's a chameleon. I can see her do some stuff. Himesh Patel, Samantha Morton, you don't really know them. They're kind of character actory people.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's kind of developed himself into that space.
And Hathaway could get by.
Yeah, and also the Odyssey is about dudes on a boat. Like, let's be honest. Like I want to see the story where it's like just the dudes. Like I want to see a man's man story. Like that's
Elliot.
the thing. With exactly. She's like, I'm Odysseus.
One of the
shoot
dudes.
me. No, she'll play some sort of nymph or something that could be like gender neutral or whatever.
Probably.
Like, how do you feel about being
a
cast
groundbreaking role?
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Shut up.
Yeah.
But I do expect there to be really cool monsters. One of my favorite monsters of all time is Polyphemus, the Cyclops. That they get stuck in his cave and they have to.
I think he said that one.
Nobody. Line. He's like, nobody.
That's a funny line.
Nobody did this to me.
Yeah.
And the other Cyclops
I don't know how
are like, shut
that.
up.
Yeah.
Can Nolan pull that off?
One of our big takeaways from our ranking is that Nolan is not funny and he can't be funny.
Yeah.
And that's important, I think, for a writer is to do it correctly.
Well, give me some contrast. Break up the mood a little bit. It's not just all serious. Like, I really need to get home to Ithaca. Oh man, of course,
because it's not realistic.
But if you have there's such camaraderie with dudes, like especially dudes in like platoons and stuff. You have like a military mission, and you're far from home. Man, that could be a lot of fun if you got to know those crew guys. Because the whole thing with the Odyssey, spoiler alert, it's been out for a while, is that basically all of them die eventually, except for Odysseus. And so they get picked off, just like various things over the years of being stuck out in the sea and encountering various monsters and stuff. And so finally he makes it back home. Odysseus is one of my favorite characters in myth. He's got his wits. He's cunning. So who in this cast? I feel like Robert Pattinson would be the one I'd want to see. Probably as Odysseus. Again, he's the mid-age kind of guy. I could maybe get behind Benny Safdie. I don't know if he's your star power guy,
No,
so that's why
it would probably if I'm betting, it's probably I would bet Tom Holland, but I would really I think Robert Pattinson would do it best as well.
Yeah, agreed. Good accents.
I guess
John Bernthal's definitely not going to be that guy. He's going to be like a soldier.
Yeah. You said Leguizamo and Bill Irwin. They would probably be like
creatures,
some creature
of some kind. Yeah.
How many of these women are going to be the
probably
sirens?
going to be the guy that gives him the wind bag. What?
No, go ahead. I said something, but
gotcha.
That.
I didn't hear you. But he gives him the bag of wind, and he's basically, don't open this. And Odysseus, or one of his men, opens it, and that's why they don't get.
Here's
back
your
home.
bag of wind, Odysseus.
Yeah, please don't open it.
He's very strong.
Yeah. Who broke wind? Just then they get scattered all over. And if the world's not flat in this movie, I'm walking out. Like I need to take me back, bro. Those were simpler times. There's so much to be said about this. I would like an Odyssey movie from Gore Verbinski, the guy who did Pirates.
Rango.
Yeah. And like, I mean, even Johnny Depp as Odysseus, that could be kind of fun. Doing his best
to sell
Jack
me a
Sparrow.
little bit, but yeah.
Well, he's loopy.
It would be fun. That's definitely true. Would it be good? I don't know, but it would be fun.
Yeah, it would definitely have the camp and everything. So Zendaya, is she going to do an accent?
I was saying, like, who's going to be? How many of these women are going to be sirens? Do you think?
And what are we going to spend an hour on the island with the sirens?
For how much power they have over?
I think Charlize Theron probably will be one. Maybe Anne Hathaway.
Who do you think would play Penelope?
Probably Samantha Morton. Although I guess if we're going off of our cast of what you call it, the worst possible version would be Tom Holland and Zendaya, because that's like just the dumbest. You let TikTok cast your movie at that point.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And you're banking on
this. That's so resentful.
A 3-hour movie.
That's so resentful of anybody that actually cares about cinema, if that's the case, because ultimately you were trying to put butts in seats that don't care about that story.
Like you said, it's for the TikTok generation, and they're not going to watch a 4-hour Christopher Nolan film.
No,
they don't have the desire.
No hope. For this project. No, that's not true. I think, again, it just depends on who these people are. These are the people that the PR machine thought would be what we'd want to talk about, which is true. But also that would put butts in seats. And a lot can happen between then and now. I guess maybe if filming has started. I don't know if it has.
If it's releasing next year.
Who is Matt Damon in this movie?
He was announced first, it seems. Odysseus is leaning that way, but maybe not. Who knows?
That would be okay. Again, we have kind of that like mixed accent type thing.
He's actually a good actor, I think, is what it comes down to. Like the Tom Holland, Zendaya, they just play themselves.
You think he was hoping to get an Oscar nom for Oppenheimer, and this was Nolan being like, "Brother, I'll get you with my Afterglow Oscar."
You're saying Matt Damon?
Yeah.
He didn't even get a nomination. Maybe that's kind of what he did for
of Oppenheimer. He had some good one-liners, but anyway,
it's kind of what he did for Cillian Murphy, because he was supposed to play, or he auditioned for Batman, and then he got him a lead role in Oppenheimer later on. So
yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like pushes him along. But yeah, I think we probably have Charlize Theron as Penelope and Matt Damon as Odysseus then.
The older versions. I could see Pattinson and Hathaway playing the younger versions, maybe.
But they're not that much younger. You're talking maybe 15 years.
They're like, it could be them for the whole film too, if they're staying in like that.
Again, it also depends on what time periods are we.
Exactly.
Are we telling?
He's going to try to do the whole epic. Yeah. Yeah,
the whole epic out of time. Like, I guarantee you, he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to tell a straightforward story.
No, that's so true. That worries me, because he's going to do stuff out of order, because there's so much time. Again,
it takes place over years, so maybe you could get away with that. But I don't know what's the point of that, though. What are you saying? Like the Odyssey. What is it? What are you saying by making it out of order? I don't know.
And this is all speculation. He might not, but it's we're if we were betting men, we would say it probably is going to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my all my money would go on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. This is his cast. Get a good look at them.
Let's hear your takes, audience. Hit us up. Tell us if we're right. Tell us if we're wrong. Yeah. Just drop a comment. Fat, ugly, hot comment. I don't know how it's ugly and hot at the same time. I mean, not in the same category. But yeah, I would love to hear what people think. That cast has been out for a little bit, so I'm sure there's a lot of conversation about it. But I think the state of cinema, to kind of bookend this whole thing, is just not good. None of this is good.
It's not hopeful, yeah.
It's not hopeful. And there's been a clip going around of Tarantino saying that movies died in 2019. And I agree with him. You know, I think
yeah.
COVID actually, we're just now getting the like, oh yeah, people just forgot what the movies were. And I don't think there's been enough talent or interesting projects to energize people to say, get them back in the seats. I don't think Fantastic Four is going to do that. I don't think the Odyssey is going to do that. I think this is the state of cinema that these people are riding out their careers because they have enough star power and interest in their little bubble to keep things going. But nobody else is getting
and no one news coming up, you know.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
if they
Just
are,
wait
it's
till
more like the
Nolan dies
Fantastic Four
off,
guy.
and
Yeah, the last like Western cinema guy.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not super black pilled. That sounds
Maybe
very
Damien
black pilled.
Chazelle. I don't know.
What has he done?
I mean,
know?
you know, I don't know. He's done
Exactly.
Whiplash and La La Land, right? He did La La Land.
Oh, blah blah land. No, I mean he did that movie Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon wasn't good.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I was just throwing another name out there that could potentially keep
Yeah.
going, but yeah, there's not really anyone else new coming up.
Well, and all the old dogs have lost their abilities. I think David Fincher could crank out another good film because he kind of understands like keep it low, keep it slow. Like I'll crank.
Yeah.
The Killer was like good, but again,
I haven't seen it yet. I still need to see it.
to Tarantino's point, he's like,
Yeah.
what is a movie when something comes out? It's supposed to be really big, and then 2 weeks later you can watch it on streaming at home.
100%.
It's like what is like literally what is a movie? It's no longer an event anymore. It's something you consume privately in a room by yourself or with your family while you're looking at another screen. You know, so I think this is actually kind of the call to start your own counterculture, find your local theaters, invest
Common
in them.
theme here at GDB. It's ripe for the taking.
Yeah,
The medium of storytelling through film, through video.
yeah.
You can make it something else, guys.
And I think it's the landscape is changing. Again, I don't want to be too black-pilled about all of this stuff. I think these movies will be fun. These movies will be interesting, but they're not culturally important.
Yeah.
That's really the kind of the cherry on top, you know. So yeah, I again would love to hear the audience's take. I'd love to be proven wrong, or just give me a good piece of it, you know. Like where should I be looking? Who should I be listening to? Because this is kind of drinking the vibes, you know. I'm drinking up the what can pick up.
Yeah, and let us know if you like this new news format thing that we're trying out. You know, this is something you're up for.
Yeah, you
Keeps
want
us
our take
on the hot topics,
on industry news? We'll do it more often. We'll crank out GDB nightly. Something like that, you know. Yeah, exactly. And audience, as always, thank you for listening. Now let's get out there and work heartily for our good and gracious God.